My parents came to The Last Jedi premiere, and right as we were sitting down, they were like, so do we have to know anything going into this movie? I had no idea what Star Wars was.
That's so cute.
I loved it. And then for Rise of Skywalker, my dad had a dentist appointment and was like, I can't make it.
Oh.
I think I love my parents. We're very close. It's just like, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
We need you to defeat the evil with the last of dragon magic.
March 5th marks the highly anticipated arrival of Kelly Marie Tran and Awkwafina's latest film, Raya and the Last Dragon.
I'm gonna be real with you, all right? I'm not like the best dragon.
The soon-to-be-released Disney animated feature is the story of Raya, a lone warrior in search of Sisu, the last living dragon, who will help her save the world from a horde of evil monsters.
So I play Raya, who is, I just think she's so badass. She's someone who, in the beginning of the movie, sort of experiences something really traumatic, and it filters the way that she sees the world. She starts looking at the world as a place of just danger. You can't trust anyone, and you have to be really careful about who you let into your life. And I think that it makes for a really cool relationship between Raya and Sisu, and I'm gonna pass it over now so you can introduce your character.
Raya is badass, man. She's a cool character. I play Sisu, who Raya essentially saves out of a rock that she's been in for many years. And, like Kelly said, whereas Raya has a lot of trouble kind of trusting people and like trusting humanity, Sisu has this over-trust problem where she doesn't see the kind of the dark side of what humans can do, kind of, and obviously she assists Raya, and I think the two of them and their kind of belief systems help each other throughout the movie. But essentially, it's their friendship that's really important too.
Kelly Marie Tran is making history as the first actress of Southeast Asian descent to voice the lead in a Disney animated film. And Raya and the Last Dragon is also the first Disney animated film to be inspired by Southeast Asia.
It's so crazy. I think it's really hard for me to put it into words, but it sort of just feels like, growing up and then not really seeing a lot of yourself in me and sort of being part of the change feels really awesome, and also really like a big responsibility at the same time. I sort of feel like I'm always in between that tension of like being so and to just also do the whole thing justice.
Yeah, I mean, like when it was first brought up to me, I just couldn't believe a concept like quite like this, and I think when I heard Kelly was going to be involved too, I just knew that I thought that was so cool, because I'm like such a big fan of hers, obviously, and I think seeing things like seeing some of the scenes over time, because with Disney it's very historically like always changing, and there's a lot that goes into that animation process. But I think like even seeing certain scenes years after I was attached, the significance doesn't really hit you until like it's a visual aspect for sure. And to see like not only the kind of the cultural significance of it, but also the females in this, it's like for women, it's like this whole other level of something that I've never seen, and just really feel really grateful that I'm a part of.
The release of Raya and the Last Dragon is evidence that the film industry is evolving, though perhaps not as fast as it should.
When I first came into this industry, I think like there was more of a difference for me between watching things with diversity and representation, and diversity being, just kind of throwing people in to make up this kind of larger, rainbow or whatever. And then representation, which can take place more behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, which is like authentic stories, written authentically or about specific experiences. And I felt like I came in at a time where diversity was more than representation. And now, like, yes, there's always more work to be done, sure. I think that we are progressing towards something. Looking at the movies, even this year, I feel like there are movies that have these campaigns online that people watch them as a result, and they kind of make these cultural footprints. And I think one of them this year that I loved was like Minari, right? And you see stories like that kind of released every year, more and more. I think that there's just a lot more that's kind of a part of like the larger cinema scope of everything, and that has representation, and that, you know, so that's one thing I've noticed and I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's such a hard conversation, but I completely agree with you in terms of like the difference between diversity and representation and how important that is. I loved Minari, so let's just go back. Let's make this whole interview about Minari.
Yeah.
새로 시작한다고 그랬잖아.
이게 당신이 말한 시작이면 우린 별 가망 없어.
What a good freaking movie, dude.
What a good movie. That ending, man, beautiful.
Oh.
Cinematic masterpiece. In quotes, you can use that quote, guys, don't worry.
Yeah.
No doubt, Kelly and Awkwafina are enjoying incredibly successful careers, but as Asian American actresses, they had to overcome their share of challenges.
I've definitely said this before, is that like my biggest challenge, I think, through all this has been myself. I think, you know, I think I was really lucky to enter an industry at a time where, you know, diversity, things like diversity and representation were definitely, they were being valued more so than I think at other times in Hollywood, for sure. So coming in felt nice, but I think it's always like self-doubt, you know, imposter syndrome. I've went through a lot of, you know, I just didn't feel like I was, you know, when things start to be good in your life, you always wonder why, you know, and if you actually really deserved it, because there are so many talented people out there. So I think with casting stuff, like it really is like, you have to have, you have to be grounded in your own sense of reality without letting it become too self-destructive.
So real. So real. No, I agree. And like, I feel like it's so easy to sort of get in your own way and sort of get into this like second guessing game, especially because we are, you know, working in an industry that historically hasn't really made space for people that perhaps look like us. And so there is a lot of sort of mental Olympics, I think, that you have to overcome, that I think I'm still overcoming.
Yeah, you never really stop, yeah.
I just shape change.
Dragons can do that?
Look how close my butt is to my head. It's gonna make digestion so much faster.
Raya and the Last Dragon will be the first time Kelly and Awkwafina have appeared together in the same film. But the 32-year-old actresses have been enjoying each other's work for years. In fact, Kelly remembers watching Awkwafina's earliest music videos.
New York City, that's where I come from.
OG, okay, day one, okay. All right, we got a day oneer over here, who knew? You know, me and Kelly haven't really hung out that much, so you really are putting us on the spot. Because Kelly's like, awesome, man. The first time I hung out with Kelly, I was like, I gotta hang out with her more, man. She's awesome, she's great.
But yeah, dude, since day one, and then seeing, it's been so, I keep forgetting, I was about to say the F word, I'm like, am I not allowed to say the F word? But it was so cool to see her, to just see her career like continuously grow, and also to see just the way that Nora Awkwafina, you've been able to like constantly push your boundaries in a way that I just find so fearless and so brave, and I'm just a huge fan, truly.
Same to you, girl. Yeah, I think Kelly is like, first of all, one of the most important Asian American entertainers that we have right now. When I first heard of her was definitely from Star Wars, and then some of her projects after that. And I just always noticed that, you know, I think that we take up a very specific sector of the kind of the, this kind of new, kind of movie star, you know? I think I've always felt that kind of relatability to Kelly. And I think that there's also been a lot of things that, you know, I think over the years that we've kind of had to deal with that maybe some other people, right, have not had to deal with as much.
Yeah. We should hang out.
Yeah, we should hang out, dude.
Yeah, cool.
Unfortunately, the co-stars won't get to hang out at any premieres due to the pandemic, but like the rest of us, they're both excited to finally see the finished film.
I haven't seen it yet fully through.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see it. What do I think I'm gonna feel? Probably just an overwhelming stream of emotions the entire time. Yeah, truly just, it's so wild to, you know, you spend so much time dreaming about being part of this world and then you get to be part of it. And I think what's crazy is sort of sitting there and watching a movie and knowing the people that worked on it. I think for me, that's like the most emotional part, is like just thinking about how many hands are on this thing and how much it takes to collaborate that way to make something so beautiful. And I think that's really what makes me emotional watching things that I have the, you know, fortune to be in.
I agree. I think it's going to be very emotional. I think it's going to be fun and, you know, obviously anticipated because we've seen collections of scenes, but not the whole cut. So I think it is definitely exactly what Kelly said. It's going to be very emotional.